Capcom doesn't want to reveal Resident Evil 9, so I told myself, fine, I'll do it myself. Greetings, I'm Slice, and today I will be revealing the terrifying story of Resident Evil 9. It is expected that Resident Evil 9 will continue the narrative following the events of Resident Evil Village, which focused on Ethan Winters and his struggle to save his daughter Rose from the clutches of the terrifying Mother Miranda and her twisted family of monsters. At the end of Village, Ethan sacrifices himself to save his family, while Rose, now a young woman, has some mysterious powers inherited from the events of the game. Resident Evil 9 will explore the aftermath of these events and the consequences of the bioterrorism and mutations caused by the Umbrella Corporation's legacy. We might also see the return of characters like Chris Redfield, who has been involved in the ongoing battle against bioterrorism. The story of Resident Evil 9 will take place after the events of the Shadows of Rose DLC. In the DLC's conclusion, Rose confronts the Mega Mycete in its consciousness form, which manifests as a giant grotesque entity. This fight is a symbolic battle for control over Rose's destiny and powers. Rose's efforts to destroy the Mega Mycete ultimately lead to a cathartic moment where she learns to embrace her abilities rather than fear them. In a key twist, Rose is able to access the memories of her father, Ethan, revealing that he knew she would eventually face these trials. It is implied that Ethan's love for her transcended his physical death, providing her with the emotional strength to overcome the forces threatening her. At the end, Rose decides to continue living with her powers, no longer seeking to rid herself of them, but accepting them as part of who she is. The final moments leave open the possibility for her to have a larger role in the future of the series in Resident Evil 9. The ending also contains a poignant moment with a letter from Ethan, confirming his love and devotion, offering a sense of closure for the Winter family arc. Shadows of Rose ties up several emotional storylines while also setting the stage for potential future chapters in the Resident Evil franchise, especially concerning Rose's future. The DLC is both a conclusion to the Winters family saga and a fresh start for the next generation, with Rose potentially playing a larger role in future Resident Evil games such as Resident Evil 9, either as a main character or villain. After the events of Village, Chris Redfield also seems to be holding a more important position in his line of work. After the events of Resident Evil 6, Chris is left deeply affected by the missions and losses he endured. In particular, the death of his partner and close friend, Pierce, which weighs heavily on him. He feels a sense of responsibility for the losses his teams experienced, leading to doubts about his future in the BSAA. By the time Resident Evil 7 takes place, Chris Redfield has left the BSAA and joined a new secretive organization that deals with biohazard threats more covertly. This organization is tied to the larger Resident Evil narrative, but its full details are not explored in Resident Evil 7. After helping Ethan Winters fight the Bakers in Resident Evil 7, Chris returns as a key character in Resident Evil Village and plays a prominent role in the story. Though he is not the primary protagonist, the game starts with Chris leading an attack on Ethan Winters' home, and his actions initially seem suspicious. It is later revealed that Chris is trying to protect Ethan and his daughter, Rose, from a more insidious threat, one connected to the tragic events in Resident Evil 7 and the larger ongoing issue of bioorganic weapons. The story also reveals that Chris has been deeply affected by the loss of his old team and the constant threats posed by bioweapons, as well as the personal guilt from losing loved ones. Chris helps the Winters family by guiding them through the terrors of the village, taking on large-scale threats and playing a part in the battle against the cult-like organization led by Mother Miranda. By the time of Resident Evil Village, Chris has grown from a straightforward soldier fighting for justice in earlier games to a more complex, emotionally scarred figure. He is now working in a more covert operational role, possibly seeking redemption for the mistakes and losses he endured throughout his career. Despite the hardships and inner turmoil, Chris remains committed to stopping the global bioterrorist threat, though his approach has become more isolated and mysterious compared to his earlier days in the BSAA. This evolution also reflects his growing awareness that the fight against bioterrorism and biohazards is far from over, and the future remains uncertain for him and the world. With the ending of Resident Evil Village leaving some threads unresolved, it's likely that Chris will continue to play an important role in Resident Evil 9. His character arc seems to be shifting toward more personal stakes, as well as dealing with the broader, lingering threats from bioterrorism, potentially setting him up for more action in upcoming installments. However, Capcom has not yet confirmed specific details about his future in the franchise or what he's working on beyond Village. The current major antagonist in the Resident Evil franchise after Village and during Village is Neo Umbrella. But who is Neo Umbrella? Neo Umbrella was established in the aftermath of the collapse of the Umbrella Corporation in Resident Evil 4, following the revelations of their illegal bioweapons research and the outbreak of the T-Virus. While Umbrella was dismantled, its impact on the world of Resident Evil continued through organizations and individuals who sought to further the research into viruses and bioweapons. Neo Umbrella was founded by Carla, a key figure and scientist who had been involved in the creation of the C-Virus, the virus central to Resident Evil 6. Carla was a former associate of the original Umbrella Corporation and became the leader of this new group, intending to continue Umbrella's vision in its pursuit of creating powerful BOWs. The C-Virus is the primary biological weapon created and utilized by Neo Umbrella, which was a new strain of the virus capable of transforming humans into terrifying monsters. Unlike the T-Virus from the original Umbrella era, the C-Virus had enhanced mutations, and it was capable of being used to create more advanced and unpredictable BOWs. As the leader of Neo Umbrella, Carla is a brilliant scientist and the main antagonist of Resident Evil 6. She was deeply involved in the creation of the C-Virus and aimed to avenge the destruction of the original Umbrella Corporation by continuing its dark legacy. Carla also created a biological copy of Ada Wong using the C-Virus. This clone, often referred to as Simone, served as a loyal operative for Neo Umbrella. The clone of Ada Wong was involved in the chaos caused by Neo Umbrella in Resident Evil 6. Neo Umbrella's fate after the events of Resident Evil 6 is unclear, as the organization is not prominently featured in subsequent games. However, it's suggested that the impact of their actions continues to echo through the world, with bioterrorism still being a threat. While the original Umbrella Corporation was definitively destroyed, groups like Neo Umbrella carry on the work, making it likely that there are still similar organizations working in the shadows and could potentially see the return in Resident Evil 9 and other games. Thank you so much for watching this new video. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe. This video was more about keeping you up to date with where we're at in the story so we can speculate together, and perhaps we'll get an announcement in 2025, who knows. But if you want to stay up to date with everything that happens with Resident Evil and with the best guides possible, please stay tuned by leaving a like, subscribe, or leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy it. But if you want to see more, stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.